like 2 minutes late, but I guess it don't matter because y'all ain't here anyway. We give y'all a second on in the room so we can talk about what is happening with this energy recently. Tell you how I've been feeling, things that I've been thinking, what I'm knowing is coming up for the collective as well. Um, Look at that. Yeah, what I'm knowing is coming up for the collective as well. Um, yeah, y'all, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but for me, being a light worker, something that I have noticed is that a lot of times light workers go through stuff before we go through stuff before it happens for the collective a lot of times. And I think that's so that we can have discussions like this so that we're able to kind of understand what other people are going to be feeling when it comes up for them. So, yeah, last week, last couple of weeks, baby, it was a fool. You know, like when that Arctic blast moved across the nation. Y'all, whenever you see ice or snow or freeze like that, definitely take it as a sign. A sign for what? To sit that ass down. Uh, I feel like a lot of times it's the universe trying to get your attention, get you to sit still, get you to be reflective. Cause why? You ain't got nowhere to go. You ain't got no place to be. So it's a perfect time for you to see, like, to I don't want to say brace for impact, but to take some time to just really sit with the energy and think about the things that come up. Even if you don't believe in astrology, it's like you're gonna still feel these energies, right? It's a whole bunch of people who are not believing in astrology, but they can see, feel, and tell that we are collectively going through an energetic shift right now. So I see we got one person up in here. Y'all, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But even if it's just one person, I guess that's fine. We can just move on and talk it out. Y'all know I got notes laid out, but yeah, your girl kind of tired. I had already moved it back to like 7:15. Then I was like 7:30. So, oh hey, there's some more y'all. Girl, let me put these glasses on. Hey Nora. Yes, I can give you a shout out, guys. So how y'all doing after this full moon that we just went through? We just Saturn. Saturn just moved into Aries. It's gonna be there for the next 30 years. So we just got like all this time to kind of make the adjustments that we need to make. Um, like I said, I've been feeling super reflective. I've been feeling like, okay, it's a lot of stuff that is changing. I feel like a major theme for many of us, and this is happening on a collective scale, but it's like happening for us as individuals. It's a lot of inner stuff that's happening, but it's like it's happening for me, it's happening for you, it's happening for her and him and them all at the same time, where we are questioning leadership, um, and we want our leaders to show up in a way that's real, that's honest, that's true. Like what you said you was gonna do it, or we gonna have to get that ass out of here. That energy. This is Saturn. Saturn is the planet that rules. Like I look at it like that stern or strict daddy. So, so Saturn is like, okay, let me show you, teach you, give you this lesson, and so you can see what like the consequences are that's gonna come with that, right? So it's a learning curve, is what I want to say it is. Hey Noah, I'm good. Hey Meredith. Hey girl, hey. But yeah, I look at Saturn as like the strict daddy. It is definitely a planet of lessons. And like I said, Saturn moves so slowly. So the energy that we're in right now, it's like we got 30 years for this transition to be in full effect. And right now, it moving into Aries, this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Aries is the fire starter. They're the initiator. So it's also connected to your identity. So you may be one of those people or in one of those spaces where it's like, who am I really? Who do I want to show up? Or how do I want to show up to the world around me? Like, you're going to be looking at what does not feel like it's actually you anymore. So that's going to cause you to put some boundaries in place with the people that are around you, even the groups and friendships that you associated with at one point. You may be starting to kind of look at them or question them like, I'm kind of outgrowing these people, or I'm not the same as these people. Because you're going to be figuring out who you are. And if that doesn't align with the people that you have around you, yeah, it's going to be some separations. It's so crazy because I'm saying it's going to be because if you haven't started to do this already, I feel like this transition is going to be easier for the people who have already started to do the work, who have already started to work on their own identity, figuring out who they are and understanding themselves. Because like Saturn is gonna be like, it's time for you to grow up, the maturing stage. It moved out of Pisces, and Pisces is like blinders on, honey. No offense, Pisces, but that's who y'all are. Pisces is the romanticizer. Pisces is the head in the clouds type of energy. And so think of it like this, that shift from where we've been for the past few years, that was like the honeymoon phase. And this is like, okay, the blinders are coming off and I do not like what the reality is showing me. So because you don't like it, you're going to be forced to change it, to shift it. So that's going to be a change and shift in the leadership, a change and shift in your friend groups, maybe some of y'all a change or shift in the job that you do. It's like, is this job where I see myself? A lot of people, I'm realizing, I feel like this is that awakening energy. Goose is going crazy. I feel like it's that awakening energy where a lot of people are realizing, I don't want to do this shit for the rest of my life, or I don't want to be a slave earning wealth for these people when I could be doing my own thing. It's a lot of people stepping into their creative energy. And they're wanting entrepreneurial. We're going to see a rise in entrepreneurial energy where they are wanting to work for themselves. There's a lot of people. I made a video the other day about figuring out your role, right? When is it time for you to step into this role and this role and this persona? So a lot of people are doing that. And in that shift and you sitting and you questioning things, I feel like it's a little bit of sadness and a little bit of grief that comes with that, because it's a realization that like, dang, I'm really about to close this chapter. So the emotions, the feelings, all of it is just a mix of stuff. I wish my friend Katarina was here so she could share with us too about how they're feeling. How did y'all do with that last full moon? Or even just the energy of the shift right now, even with like the shit that's going on with the government and whatnot. Hey, Regina. Even with the shift that's going on in government and all of that, those crazy shenanigans, right? I almost feel like that is our current system of ruling, holding on for dear life because they know the shit's about to change, right? This is a time where people are going to be less tolerant of BS. They're going to be like, we're moving, yep, goosies. We're moving into that kind of show me type of energy where you can't just say this is what you're going to do and not have the follow through, right? You're going to have to follow through, and the people are going to demand that you follow through on what you said you were going to do. And that's going to be on the global scale like that. We're holding our leadership accountable, but we also going to be holding the people in our lives accountable, right? Where you're not going to be willing to continue to pour into people who are not giving back to you in the same way. Yeah, so that frustration with the way things are and the way that we are seeing things clearly now is going to come to the surface. So you might find a lot of people that are quick-tempered because they are frustrated, because certain things that they have had their rose colored glasses on for those glasses being removed. It's like, oh, now I see what the real deal is, or I see this person clearly. And however long I've been connected to these people, or however long I've been accepting of whatever their behavior is, or whatever the case, I'm no longer willing to do that. And so it's going to hurt to have to cut people off. And I keep seeing people say, I made a post about this yesterday. People be saying, like, nobody ever talks about how lonely it is on your ascension journey. And nobody ever, yes, the freak we do. I was just looking at my podcast list because YouTube sent me a notification about something. And I'm scrolling through my podcast list like, oh, look at all this information. All this information. People been talking about it. It's just a matter of y'all wanting to listen or want to hear, because it may not be what you are going through at that present time. But we are moving into this space, this area, this phase that we are in right now, where those things that you felt like weren't important, that you didn't need to look at then, you're going to have to look at now, because Daddy Saturn is going to be like, hey, it's time for y'all to grow up. It's time for y'all to grow up and get your stuff together. So definitely that comes with like a psychological atmosphere shifting, a lot of clarity around your personal power, the people that are in power, the actions that you are supposed to take, who you are on a soul level, and who you want to be or how you want to show up in the world. It's a lot of thought, reflection, and feeling around that. And as you get clarity about those things, everything is going to change. It's going to change. So the other week, when we all was kind of snowed in our different areas in life, what were you guys doing? were y'all being reflective, or just sitting back observant? That's a good way to be too. Just observant, because taking time to really just observe how people move helps you to confirm your next step. It helps you to confirm your next action, right? So it's like I'm sitting back observing this behavior. So when I cut your ass off, it might be a shock to you, but I will know and be confident in the choice that I made to do so, because I was watching how you move and I see it clearly now, right? Like I said, that can come with a lot of grief and sadness, because it's like, I can't believe that this is my new reality. But your new reality is meant to stretch you and grow you in a major way. And I feel like that's what's happening for us all at one time. I was thinking about this particular live before I came on, and I was thinking how I don't think it was last year, but the year before, I done like what you can expect in the upcoming year, what's happening for you. And for a lot of people, I was seeing this awakening energy, where people were getting spiritual gifts that were going to be heightened, which I'm seeing that now too, as people's intuition is being heightened. But it's not just that; it is perspective shifting. Your beliefs about the world, what you thought was true versus what's really true, that's shifting. Because why? Because a lot of people are facing judgment and being exposed, and things are coming to light that in our world, in our reality, we didn't really think that type of stuff was going on behind the scenes, right? And we are learning front and center that, yeah, it's definitely going on behind the scenes. All right. So as we are shedding the labels that don't apply to us anymore, or that we feel like we have outgrown, we are redefining our roles to ourselves, but also to the people around us. So people around you are going to have to make adjustments to who it is that you've decided that you're becoming. And sometimes that can be an issue, because as you shift, as you grow, as you mature, then those people around you are going to question, like, well, what does that mean for me in their life, right? Am I going to grow with them, or are they going to outgrow me in a way where they don't want to be around me? How does their growth affect who I am to them, right? So when I say it's affecting everything, it's affecting everything. And this is for the next 30 years. So a lot of this energy started with the full moon, not the full moon, the new moon that we recently had. And we are moving into eclipse season 2. I think our next full moon is also a solar eclipse. I think that's right. When is that? In a minute. No. So that was the last full moon. So the next one's going to be a new moon. And that's what? In like a week and a half? In a little bit. And yeah, there's an eclipse that comes with that. So we're about to enter eclipse season. Y'all know I call eclipses nature's scissors, right? Depending on if it's a solar or a lunar, then it's like, I feel it can be more emotion based or more amen, more emotion based, or it can be more of like something being cut out that's doesn't feel like a painful thing. It's like, okay, this thing is changing. I'm leaving the old me behind and stepping into this new space and this new energy, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to say it with too much of a smile because sometimes that shit's hard too. It's hard to do that. We also, something else that's coming up with this is our attachment to responsibility. Whereas under that Pisces energy, we may have been kind of clouding our view or our perception or our judgment of responsibility, of accountability, where it's like now that holding people accountable or taking responsibility personally is going to be more important, which I feel is showing up in the collective. Y'all, I be on social media just scrolling like, they feeling it. They feeling it. Because you can just tell based on the conversations that people are having, the things that they are talking about now, it's different. Like one of the words for 2024 that Spirit gave me, 2024 or 23, one of those years, it was accountability. And what I was noticing was that in our society as a whole, we don't like people to hold accountability. We'll do a lot to help somebody, even if they were or are wrong, to help them to avoid being held accountable. Like, let me give you an example. Like a parent saying, "Oh, but that's my baby. I don't want my baby to get in trouble," even though you know your baby was dead. That's wrong, right? There were more people who were like that. Like, let me protect my baby by any means necessary. Whereas now it's like, no, if my baby, I just saw 18 on the clock. If my baby do some foul stuff, then my baby needs to take responsibility for the foul stuff that they did. And they might just have to get in trouble behind it. You know what I'm saying? Not that that's what you want, but it's like a more of an acceptance about it now. So yeah, I feel like we're moving from that phase where accountability was an issue to us having to face the consequences, either of us not having taken accountability previously, or now realizing that, oh, this should have come with consequences, and we're gonna have to face those. And I don't want to say that like we about to be so punished, right? It's not punishment. It's really us being forced to grow the freak up, us being forced to mature, and then depending on your age as well, and what house Saturn is in on your birth chart is going to affect where you are and how this affects you or what stage or phase you're in. But it's still going to be the same cycle. There's this realization, and then you have to kind of observe, to reflect and figure out what the lesson is supposed to be. And then it's like, okay, I have to start to kind of reframe my life and my actions behind what it is that I've learned. So I'm learning to integrate. You may have heard me on the previous video. I think one thing that I said about integrating, learning to really ground my energy, learning to observe without absorbing, all those things. That's a part of this energy. Boundaries is going to be a strong one, setting boundaries. That reactive energy, What do you react? What is worth you giving your time and attention to? That's going to be one of the things that's coming up. Um, Instead of being reactive or reacting impulsively, yeah, you might want to pause a beat, then think about it, and then decide. It's a whole lot of energy around regulating your nervous system right now. So it's like not allowing ish to affect you, not allowing stuff to affect you the way that it may have or would have in the past. It's really an energy of being forced to grow up. Um, there is a lot of energy of slowing down and enjoying the moment, being present in the moment, living in the moment, rather than trying to be so productive, where you're so productive but your heart isn't in anything that you're producing, or you're doing something and you're producing out of obligation, not because it's what you truly desire and what fulfills you and what excites you and what is connected to your purpose. It's like I'm supposed to post. I'm supposed to post. So then you start to get this feeling like maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I shouldn't try to be moving so fast or working so hard. So then you got to question yourself like, dang, if I slow down, does that mean I'm not being productive? No, because what it is you do produce is going to have better quality. Why? Because you sat on it, you reflected on it, you were purposeful and intentional about it, and then you took action, right? So that's like gonna be a whole little learning curve, okay? Um, so collectively, this Aries energy is asking you to ask yourself, who am I really? What do I stand for? And in figuring out what you stand for, you're gonna realize what is the deal breaker, what you won't tolerate any longer, what you gotta let go of, and sometimes that what is a who. All right. um, where am I giving my power away? And also, I should probably stop doing that shit. Okay. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on that is going to create a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions that you really have to kind of work through, right? Have any of y'all been feeling that? Um, so yeah, like I said, frustrations that you have been suppressing, where it's like you may be sitting back and looking like, I ain't been saying nothing, but that really do bother me. Like, I hate that that person does that, right? So you may be forced to address it, confront it, or decide if it's a deal breaker or not, and it's time for you to walk away. Um, things, things, or situations or people, injustices that you've experienced previously, they may now feel a lot heavier. So when those injustices start to feel heavier, what do? You make adjustments, either so it doesn't happen again or so it doesn't happen to other people. Um, like I said, you're going to be less willing to tolerate certain things that feel disrespectful, or things that feel stagnant, like no progress is being made. If y'all don't know yet, I cut off my Facebook page, right? Because Facebook is one of those platforms for me that I feel kind of thrives on low vibrational stuff, right? The stuff that's messy, the stuff that's drama, that's what gets the most attention. Then you have me over here trying to spread positivity and enlighten and inform and all the things. I just feel like those pages don't get a lot of play on Facebook. But I have the most viewers. Well, not now. I think I have more viewers on YouTube. Yeah. But for a long time, I had the most viewers on Facebook, but my engagement was like maybe one or two per post, maybe if that. So it's like, why am I going to continue to give energy to these people over here that I don't even know if they're benefiting from everything that I'm sharing with them? So I'm going to take my energy back from this space, and y'all have to find me somewhere where I know I'm being impactful. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I already have relationships like that. Like, I feel like my personal relationships, that shift happened before it started to begin professionally. Um, But yeah, I feel like too, again, that is not just me. That's gonna be everybody. And like I said, if you're not experiencing it yet, give it time. From the full moon we just had, we have like 6 months from now, 6 to 12 months for us to really be integrating that energy. And when I say integrating, I mean realizing it, learning, realizing that it's something that needs to be changed or adjusted, and then implementing or applying that new lesson, that new way of being, and then kind of functioning in that energy for a while. So we got like 6 months to a year to do that. Yeah. What else? Major leadership reset for sure. So Saturn is going to be testing people who are in positions of authority. This can be like our political leaders, but it can also be just the authority that you have maybe within your household, within your friend group, on your job if you are a boss, a manager, right? Authority figures are going to be tested. Um, Systems that were built either by force, America, uh, systems that were built either by force or on a false foundation that lacked integrity, they're going to be tested. We are experiencing that now, I do believe. Hey, is that Lee Anthony? I don't know, but hey, um, and I think we see that happening now as well. Just from how this man trying to do us, and then the protests and the responses that we're getting from the citizens, not just in America, y'all. This is overseas as well. Um, but yeah, people are kind of bucking the systems that are no longer serving us. Like even if this is the way, and it probably is the way that you've done it for 20 years, Saturn now is saying it's time for us to change that. It's time for that to shift. Um, and that false foundation that I'm speaking of is also going to apply to what? Your relationships, your personal connections, your personal relationships, right? When you realize, man, me and this person only have, can I say that on live? Me and this person only have ganja, ganja, reefer, green, broccoli. We only have that and drinking and partying in common. This is not a real friendship, right? When one of those people stops doing all those things, then what is it? So it may have you kind of questioning that friendship, that relationship that I thought was a real friendship or relationship. But here I am realizing now that the rose colored glasses are off, that this is not a real friendship. That was just kind of something to do. We was kind of trauma bonded, okay? Or we were bonding over toxicity that I am growing out of. So that those things are going to be tested. People who act without thinking about the consequences or how it's going to affect the future or how it's going to affect other people. That's going to be for leaders. And again, as you as an individual, that shit's going to be tested as well. So definitely the collective is going to be pushing back against leaders in general. And anything built on ego or distorted ego is going to be collapsing. And this, like I said, this is for the next 30 years. So this is something that I feel, especially people my age, we may be kind of starting, but we may or may not. I don't know how the divine's going to move it or how the collective is going to move with it, but we may or may not get to see it play out. You know what I'm saying? Because what? I'm almost 50. I'm 47. So 30 years from now, 77. I don't know. I don't know if that's what I want or not. Shoot. Anyway, I'm just saying, I said by the time Saturn moves again into like it's this major transit that it just made, I'll be too old to care. You know what I'm saying? But still where we are right now today, this is the start of it. So it's kind of like a passing of the torch. We at least are getting the fire started, and then someone behind us, generations below us, beneath us, are going to be the ones to keep the fire going. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Yeah. And it feels kind of heavy. It feels kind of tense because, like I said, this shift in the psychological atmosphere is happening to everyone on an individual level, but at the same time. Okay. So the collective is learning how to start. They are learning how to start and initiate new things without being burnt out. That's something else that's coming up. I feel like I've been talking quite a bit about burnout lately. If you haven't watched my last two videos, that's why you haven't seen it. But being able to identify burnout and what that's for, which is often because you staying in something longer than you were meant to stay in that role, right? It makes me think of staying in a job or a position just because it's like, I don't want to have to look for something else. But you're uncomfortable and you hate it and you're miserable there because it's time for you to look for something else. You have outgrown that position or you've outgrown the people around you, right? So some people are like, I don't want to do that, but something's going to happen. I be trying to tell y'all, something's going to happen this year. I think it's this year that's going to force you to take the action that you need to take. So if you're in a space where you've been, I think I said this. When did I say this? Beginning of the year? I don't know. I be saying it. I hope y'all be listening a little bit. If you're in a space this year, 2026, in the month of January, I said this, where you are like on the edge of something, or you feel like you need to make a choice, or there's a tough decision that you need to make. It's going to become abundantly clear this year that it's time for you to make the choice or the decision. And it's going to be something that you came back out of, right? It's like, I'm not going to have a choice. So I feel like, I don't know, I haven't studied the astrological calendar this year, but I feel like something's going to come about where we'll kind of be energetically forced, like to see something, like to see that it's time to do something different. It's time to piss or get off the pot, right? That type of energy. I don't know, y'all. I'm at a place where I really be trying to do it beforehand because I don't want the universe to force me to do jack. When I tell you that's difficult, that's more challenging because it'd be like, dang, God, are you mad at me? It's like, I've been telling you I have to do this for 2 years now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now I have to make you do what I've been telling you to do. However that looks for you. I was about to give some personal examples, but I don't want to talk too much about my business, my personal business on the worldwide internet. Yeah, so anyway, also being intentional about our actions, being able to move forward without being or doing unethical things or making unethical choices. Learning to control our emotions, our aggressive energy as well, our aggressive responses and reactions. That's going to come with consequences. So it's like learning to be in our power and in our authority without being excessively negative or excessively angry or excessively aggressive. That's one of the things that the collective is learning right now. Yeah. What else? So yeah, Spirit said, think of it like the fog is lifting, and then when the fog lifts, reality appears. And it's like, oh, now what do I do with this? Like, what do I do with this reality? So it's kind of having to figure all those things out, not really on the fly. And that's the thing too, Spirit is saying, not to think that it has to be something that's happening overnight. This is something that you're supposed to take time to reflect before you move. It's going to be uncomfortable, super uncomfortable, but it's also something that is necessary. If you've also been in a place or a space where you've been on a healing journey for an extended period of time, and you've been trying to heal, and you've been working on your healing, you've been okay. Once you start healing, then what? Right? Have you changed anything around you aside from just you? Have you shifted in your connections with your new healed energy? If you haven't, this is the year that you'll be forced to do so. Um, Again, the accountability thing. There could be some responsibility. There could be some things where you have been. It's like I'm angry about these things. I'm angry about the things that I'm seeing and knowing is taking place. Right? You're angry. You have a right to be angry. It's a righteous anger. But then it's like, okay, what is your role or your responsibility? What is it for you to do? Do you have to change who you're voting for? Do you have to be the one to speak up? Are you going to be on the front lines of this transition, right? That goes back to the video that I did on picking or deciding or determining which role you are supposed to play as we go through this transition. Yeah, this space where we're going to be demanding that people show you who they are by what they consistently do. You can't just tell me, oh, I'm a doctor and you've never operated or you've never shared medical advice. You can't say I'm a healer and then you still walking around acting super unhealed, right? It's like, show me what or why you identify as what you identify as. Does that make sense? It's like you have to be or become or behave like who you say and have decided that you are, right? You can't say that you legendary and you don't do shit every day, right? You got to be doing legendary things. Does that make sense? Well, yeah, so that's going to be for governments, that's going to be for communities, that's going to be for you as an individual, your local community as well. And Saturn, guys, Saturn is on my rising sign and my sun sign. And so when the collective experiences these shifts, I'm super sensitive to that. And like I said, I usually feel it earlier than the collective. So, like I said, if some of y'all may not have even been feeling any of this stuff yet, but don't feel left out. It's coming. Okay? It's coming. Yeah. So I personally have been these past couple of weeks having to be intentional and take slow and deliberate action, making sure that I'm not moving out of obligation, but moving out of alignment so that I'm not pressuring myself, but following or going on where I'm supposed to go, not because I feel like I have to, but I feel like it aligns or connects with my purpose to, right? So that's why I've definitely been doing less tarot readings, not because I didn't want to, but Spirit saying, no, I need you to talk about these things first, or I need you to focus on this first, or I need you to reflect on that before you make that post or do that reading, right? Being super intentional. And a lot of times we do things out of obligation because we think that that's what people expect, or we want to please other people or for them to be, yeah. Spirit said, nope, 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 nope. All of that is changing. What do you want for you? What do you feel is best aligned with your energy? You don't have any quotas to meet, any demands to be met, except for, does this align with you and what you truly feel? Or is this out of obligation that you're doing this, right? So we'll definitely be looking at what no longer works for us, what behaviors now have certain limits, what can we no longer avoid, what actions feel heavier. And yeah, we'll be learning to speak, act, and react in an intentional way. So if you were trying to figure out, why do I feel like I feel like something's happening or something's changing or something's coming up? Because it is. It is. And it's going to be major, but it's super important to stay grounded um, in this energy, to really tell yourself to calm down, to be aware of your breathing, so that you can step out of that anxious energy. Ask yourself, is this what I'm truly feeling? Or am I feeling somebody else's energy? Is this fear? Like, learn to identify your feelings and your emotions so that you can stay grounded. Um, in one of the videos I made the other day, I was telling y'all about the man on social media who was really trying to bait me into a debate. And, like, sir, I have nothing to prove to you. I don't even know you, mister. You're on the internet and you don't know me. So you just made all this assumption from my little comment that was like, I want to protect my peace. That says a lot more about you than it does about me. But I'm going to protect my peace right now and block your ass. Because, like, normally, I'm going to be the one to clap back. But Spirit was like, yeah, that's not how we showing up now. We're growing. So, yeah, I'm being forced to grow. Seriously, though, that's what it felt like for a couple times. But not that time, though. It felt like, yeah, I don't even want to give you that type of energy, you know? Anyway, so I don't know if I hope the people that see this are receptive to it. If they feel guided to watch it, they probably will be. And yeah, I hope I named your feeling or your emotion. I think most people are just kind of coming in and out, and that's definitely fine. You know, when you need to see it, hopefully you'll see it, right? Until later, I'm about to peace out. Y'all hear my nose? I feel like I need to blow my nose. The fan blowing. I've been talking too long. This was definitely longer than I meant to stay on here, all right? But all right, I hope this was helpful, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Yes.